نتكلم على النيتريك oxide finally. Nitric oxide is a gas. And the definition of neurotransmitters اللي أنا حكيته في أول المحاضرة does not apply على nitric oxide. فنيتريك oxide is an exception. فنبلش كيف يصير synthesis للنيتريك oxide. هلا الجلوتاميت بيصير له packaging inside vesicles ولما تيجي signal depolarization وتيجي signal بيصير في release للجلوتاميت into the synaptic cleft. Some of it would be and it would bind على receptor اللي هو ال N-methyl D-aspartate receptors الموجودة على postsynaptic neurons. هلا what happens إنه once it binds to these receptors, calcium ions would go into the postsynaptic neuron, activating nitric oxide synthase inside cells. Nitric oxide synthase, once activated, converts arginine to nitric oxide. هلا nitric oxide then stimulates guanylate cyclase اللي راح يعمل لي؟ حيعمل لي cyclic GMP from GTP. Cyclic GMP can then bind to many proteins and enzymes, resulting in a physiological response. هلا nitric oxide نفسه can diffuse out of cells, and it can enter neighboring cells like glial cells and other neurons, and it can diffuse into the presynaptic neuron. بالpresynaptic neuron مرة تانية nitric oxide can activate guanylate cyclase to produce cyclic GMP. Again, it binds to different proteins, eliciting a physiological response. طيب فعشان هيك هذه احنا بنسميها retrograde pathway او بنسميه retrograde messenger. ليه؟ لأنه ممكن يرجع ريترو إنه يرجع مرة تانية للpresynaptic neuron, inducing a signal. Its half-life is 2 to 4 seconds, so short duration, and it can be inhibited by binding to proteins like hemoglobin and other heme-containing molecules. So it has a very short half-life, لكن أفعاله ظاهرة ومبينة كتير. And it can be inactivated by diffusion as well. طيب السؤال هو, is nitric oxide a neurotransmitter? And the answer is yes, ولكن pay attention إنه it is not stored in vesicles, it is not released by calcium-dependent exocytosis, its inactivation is passive. يعني ما في active process مثل ال reuptake. لا, هو diffusion via the plasma membrane. It decays spontaneously by itself. It can be inactivated and it does not interact with receptors على cell surface. Rather, it goes inside cells. It binds the enzyme اللي هو guanylate cyclase to produce cyclic GMP. Its sphere of action depends on the extent to which it diffuses. لو ممكن يوصل, لأنه احنا بنتكلم على very short half-life 2 to 4 seconds. يا دوب يطلع من السيلز ويعمل interaction مع neighboring مع enzymes ب neighboring cells. It acts as a retrograde messenger. It regulates the function of axon terminals بالpresynaptic neuron as well. نفس النيورون اللي اشتغل عليه. So, and the differences. So, nitric oxide synthase, by the way, عندنا 3 isoforms. I do not want you to know كل واحد منهم ايش هو, لكن I need you to know إنه isoform 1 هو اللي موجود في النيورونز وهو اللي ممكن يكون target ل different drugs. What's important is that all 3 isoforms require dihydrobiopterin as a cofactor, as well as NADPH as a coenzyme. والله معكم.